that are going on around that as well. Oh, there you go. So there's your website link for the rebranding of the rail district. But that $1 billion, right? So it's an all-encompassing new and old downtown, and they're really enhancing the new downtown along with the old downtown in a matter of the next 3 years. So when all that is completed and coming together, we're talking about all these districts in Frisco, right? You have the Star District, you have the PGA District. You're also going to have the downtown district. So it's the rail district and the new downtown. So super exciting things to come. And we'll be talking a lot about that because we do have some other things that I do want to mention here regarding the rail district currently and some upcoming shows happening in the rail district. Lennon, I don't know if you're able to put up those splash screen. There they are. So at the NAC Theater, which is in downtown Frisco in the rail district, we have Jason Ledane coming to the rail district October 18th and 19th. If you haven't seen this dude on TikTok or Reels or Shorts or whatever, check him out. He's hilarious and he does some amazing things with cards. He travels all over the country. So we're lucky enough to have him come to Frisco October 18th and 19th at a very close environment. So the NAC Theater seats about 250 people. So it's a nice, cozy environment to see a nationwide act. Another nationwide act coming a month later, Tom Cotter. So this is an 18-plus show, but another comedian. He's been on America's Got Talent. Check him out. November 16th, 7:30 and 9 p.m. He has 2 shows on that Saturday. So that, again, will sell out. It's a nice, cozy environment. So check that out as well. Also wanted to mention the Community Awareness Night. That sign up is open now. That is 5 to 9 p.m. on October 2nd. So after you go to the Revel and check out our networking group, make sure that you're signed up for the Community Awareness Night here in Frisco. What that is, you basically can sign up to have the Frisco PD and Frisco Fire Department show up on your block, let the kids climb all over the fire truck, meet the policemen. It's really a great way to engage with the police department and the fire department here in Frisco. So definitely look for that. Anybody on your block can sign up for it, and they'll come out to your block, and everybody's welcome. All right, what else, Lennon? I think I also want to talk about the incubator program in Frisco ISD. There it is right there. Thank you, sir. So this is an incubator program that is at 5 of the 13 different Frisco high schools. They're looking to expand it to all 13, but right now it's in 5 of them. Volunteers are needed. So obviously the date on this is past August 27th. That was an informational breakfast that they had. I did go to it. They're looking for volunteers. So business owners, entrepreneurs in the area who would be willing to volunteer their time as coaches or mentors for high school students as part of this program. What it is, it's basically like a Shark Tank for high school students, right? They learn how to launch a business, what's important, what a P&L is, how to make money, how to market, all the things that go on, how to create value, what is your value proposition, all the things that go into launching a product or service. They cover that in that class in a Shark Tank environment where at the end of the class, they get to present their idea to a board of directors, i.e. the Sharks, right? Just like the show. And they can either approve them, send them on to the national competition where they can actually earn money to launch their product or service. So definitely check that out. It's the Frisco Incubator Program. That QR code that was on there, go back, pause it, there it is right there. Go ahead and scan that, and all the information for Ashley Sign right up there. She is a contact person and the head of this program. She's also a Leadership Frisco classmate of mine. So awesome person, awesome program. So sign up for that. And then Debbie, I think you said you have one more thing to share.
Yeah, actually, I just remembered about the Kaleidoscope Park has a grand opening coming October 5th and 6th. They're going to have the ribbon cut-in. They're going to have the Rotary Club, the farmers market out there, a petting zoo. This park looks amazing. It is so cool what you've seen online. So definitely go check that out. I know they're even having a 5K coming up from Karen White, who was on the show previously, for a fundraiser for the Frisco art division. So definitely want to go check that out. That's October 5th and 6th. So
great mention. Good call on that. And last but not least, today is North Texas Giving Day. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically a bunch of different fundraisers. It supports all the local fundraisers and nonprofits. It allows you to link directly to their site, donate to the cause of your choice through the website, northtexasgivingday.org. There it is right there. Thank you, Lendon. Go to that website. The current value, let's see, I think I have it up here. There has been over $42.2 million raised for all the various different, I think there's 3,000 different nonprofits that are linked to this. $42.3 million for North Texas Giving Day. So if there's still plenty of time left, right? It's only 2:51 if you're watching this live. Get on there, find an org of your choice, and donate. You have till the end of the day today to do that through the North Texas Giving Day. And I think that's it. Does anybody have anything else? Raise your hand if so. Otherwise, we will put a bow around What's Up Frisco. That was a lot, man. I like it. So with that, guys, we're going to take another quick commercial break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about that business topic of the month. Again, we're going to be talking about, it's the effective top-of-mind strategies, how to build a relevant, iconic brand without being salesy or self-promoting. So we're going to talk about that on the backside. Lennon, go ahead and take us to commercial. We'll be right back.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. So this segment, we're going to talk about the business topic of the month. So if you've seen our show before, we basically get insights from our guests, from our co-hosts, on a rotating business topic of the month. We've had some awesome ones in the past. September is no exception to that. We are talking about effective top-of-mind strategies, how to build a relevant, iconic brand without being salesy and self-promoting. This is a good one. I love it because from my own personal perspective, I worked for an iconic, global brand, right? I worked for a company called PepsiCo, worked on some really cool brands like, Gatorade and Lay's and Doritos. And so talk about iconic brands, right? There's Nike, there's Apple, there's all those that we read about in the news that we have in our hands, in our pockets, and our phones, right? And what I like about what we've talked about so far in September is kind of bringing that down to the community level and the personal level, right? So our own personal brand or, your company brand, depending on, how you're structured. So I I'd love to hear the insights from you guys. Deb, I'm going to hand it over to you first, just to start the questions off, and we'll just kind of go from there because that's what we are. We just we're having a conversation. So, Deb, it's all yours.
Yeah. So, when I think about this, it's kind of like, what's those strategic partnerships or collaboration, because that's what really helps us to build that camaraderie and even help each other. So I'm going to start with Tiffany. How can you brand identity and approach potential collaborators whose values kind of align with theirs, ensuring that perhaps that partnership create value for both the audience without directly competing with them in the market? So how would some of your thought process on that?
I would have to kind of go back to what Brian said earlier about who he worked for. So I worked for Neiman Marcus for 10 plus years, right? And then my husband worked for Apple. And so when we started our brand, what we did, we decided to just kind of go back, because no matter where you worked, you can pick and choose and bring things into your vision and your market. So I thought about the things that I loved about Neiman's, right? And what the quality, right? The quality, the control, the brands, the client relationships, right? Building those customers and retaining those customers. My husband thought about how clean and crisp and innovative Apple was. And so that's how we partnered our brand with customized designs. So as far as me going out finding partnerships, one thing we thought about was kids. We have a heart and passion for children, right? And so we partner with school districts in the whole DFW Metroplex. And we help with team gear. We help with coaches gear. We give kickbacks and fundraisers. So first we had to kind of nail down our brand and what we stood for. And then in that marketplace, we had to go just touch the people, talk to the people, not necessarily market to them, but kind of show them who we are, what we bring, and how we can help.
That's great. And I think even where you found your niche, I think the great thing is something you shared with me is the fact that a lot of times when people are getting those letter jackets, they can't afford them in some areas. So you guys have been able to customize where they look almost just like the ones that they could get, but they're more affordable. So that collaboration of getting to schools and helping children that maybe couldn't afford that, I think is super great of how you guys have been able to kind of make yourselves stand out differently.
And I will say that division, that partnership came from just being authentic and being approachable and being out there at the games, meeting the coaches. And we, the school you're talking about happened to win state like twice, right? So then we had these I'm not good with football, but linebackers, if they're the big guys, but the big guys coming up to us saying, "Oh my God, y'all do Letterman jackets." And we're like, "Yes." And they're like, "We won state twice and we can't afford our jackets because I need a 4X, I need a 5X, and they were upward $600-700 and they couldn't afford it. And so my husband and I, we were like, "Oh my God, we never thought about that." Because I think when we were in school, the jackets were free.
Right, exactly. And I'm a lot older than you, so yes, they were.
So that was just like, oh my God, we went home and we got back to the drawing board and we was like, how can we help? How can we really help be a part of the community effort? And so it's just things out there, being touchable and being approachable and being with, awesome. With the people and with your clients.
Awesome. Yep.
That is awesome. And so part of having a product or service that is successful is a unique offering, right? So the fact that you can offer that at a lower price, obviously that's something that isn't available to most folks. I also heard in there the different ways that you go about, getting your personal brand out and building those relationships, and that is consistency. You're consistently getting out there. So I think that's another key point, and I love the fact that you guys are, especially coming from that big brand background, where you have a massive advertising budget and you have probably a product or service, or in the case of Neiman, the service level of a retailer, that you have something that has efficacy that doesn't need as much, right? But as a small business owner, or whether it's a product or a service that you're providing, We don't have those massive budgets. I will ask a question here in a little bit. First chance, I'm going to let you ask your question. And
thanks, Brian. Because what resonated with me when I was looking at our business topic today was the consistency across touch points. And you talk about the big brands like the Pepsis and the things, but when you start talking about like business owners that are maybe smaller scale solopreneurs, this is what I thought. Dominion. When you look at if you look at his website, you look at his LinkedIn, it's very consistent. And one of the big problems that we had at Total Care originally was that the way the name was spelled, the way the logo was, we weren't consistent. So people thought we were Total Point. They thought we were different companies. And so, I think I wanted to stress the ability, how important that is. And I thought Dominion would be good because I saw that his stuff looked really tight. And I was going to ask him about how do you maintain that consistency across your touch points?
I think, like you said, it's very important to have that consistency across the board, especially now that we're in such a social media dominated sphere where, okay, you can have some content in different sectors of social media or a podcast or a website, or you're doing blogs, articles. There's so many modalities to connect the business owner to their customers or their clients, and having consistency is such a big factor in generating brand awareness, right? Like you said, they thought it was Total Point and different companies, right? That's you're going to lose leads, you're going to lose sales, and essentially you're going to lose people that you're trying to help, because you guys are obviously doing an amazing work, helping people in that sphere of healthcare. So you're going to lose touch points. And when we started out, we're a small team now, but I say I sometimes. Just the social media aspect was the biggest lead magnet, I would say. So, we're on different platforms, and you got to have the same branding. You have to have the same piece, the same messaging, right, across the board. Because if we're trying to reach a certain target audience, a certain demographic, and still having to factor in the variability of sharing, of people having a piece of content blow up, go viral, and you have a wrong message on there, you have a wrong mission statement, you have a wrong logo, that is almost catastrophic from a marketing standpoint to your business. So consistency is essential to growing and scaling, any business.
I do agree with that for sure. All right, here's a challenge question for you guys, and I asked this last week. So if you watched the show last week, you might have gotten a sneak peek and thought about it. But here's the challenge: you have $100,000, $100,000 for ad spend, but you cannot talk about your product or service. You can mention your business, but not what you do. How would you create a top-of-mind strategy that helps you be seen, be heard, and be remembered, which is what we always talk about here in The Difference, and establish a known, liked, and trusted brand? So you got $100,000, cannot talk about your product or service. You can mention your business, but not exactly what you do. So how do you go about doing that? Who wants to start first? There's no right or wrong answer.
I've got one.
Sure, go for it.
And what I think, like, you get in, and this is a holiday related example, but like when Coca-Cola would do the bears and they do the sweet, the sweet pictures with them, and it's really just creating that warm, homey feeling that everyone can kind of relate to around Christmas time. That was one of the big campaigns. They used to do that every year, and it was just really wasn't about anything about soda. It was just about that getting together with your family, all about that feel good vibe that they were putting out, and it got to be one of those iconic type commercials that you'd never forget.
Yeah, another one is the Budweiser Clydesdales, right? It's a good example where they don't really talk about beer at all, but it's iconic, and it's one of those that you don't. It doesn't mention the product or service. It just it might have a little Budweiser in the corner, but it's all about the Clydesdales. Shout out to Paul and Vanessa watching. Thank you guys for listening and watching. They are co-hosts on a couple of our other shows. Paul is also one of our co-hosts here on Frisco. So good to see you guys listening. Shout out to you guys. All right. So what else? You got $100,000. Chance, I like that example. Yeah, go ahead, Dominion. What you got?
So along the same kind of premise as Chance said, I would partner with an organization that could be a potential client of my business and do a form of fundraiser for them, an educational fundraiser, a community-based fundraiser to bring the community together. And I would have things that we'd give out to them, some gifts, educational assets, and just create a really good community event, because that's what people remember. They remember that time, we went to this and we had this experience, and obviously have our brand logos and assets there to kind of fringe on their brain, sort of say. But I would create that community event and just create a time where they can look back and say, I wish we can do that again, because that was such an amazing experience and we received a lot of value from it. And like I said, there's no hard sell in there, and just give back to the community, because I think communities love that. They love when they're thought of, and they love when you're meeting a need that they have, and more importantly, you're meeting a need they didn't even know they needed. So that's what I would do.
I like that. So I think of that as experiential marketing, right? So you have an experience and you think of, Dominion's business, or it has nothing to do with your business per se, but it is an experience that they can remember, right? So I love that. I love that example. Think of another one too, like a lifestyle brand, Red Bull, for instance, right? Red Bull gives you wings. You don't necessarily, everybody kind of knows what Red Bull is, but think about how they advertise and sponsor different events, right? Any sort of extreme, jumping off of a cliff or skydiving or jumping out of space, right? You'll see it's sponsored by Red Bull. But they don't talk about energy drinks. They talk about a lifestyle. They talk about living on, just living with energy. And so, Dominion, I like what you said there is it's experiential marketing. And Red Bull's in your face all the time at these type of events, at these type of extreme events. I guess the question to you guys is, how can we do that at the community level? Dominion, you just gave an example. How can we do that at a community level, or at a personal level, or at a small business level? Heck, we've got $100,000 to work with here. That's a pretty big advertising budget for, some of us smaller businesses. Maybe not so much Total Care ER, but some of us other ones. So Tiffany, I think I saw you raise your hand. What you got?
Yes. Okay. When you first posed the question, I was like, oh my goodness, $100,000. What would I do? But I can tell you one thing we've done recently is we've been looking for needs and filling them, right, in the school district. So one team went to state twice, one once, and then went twice, and we were watching one of their games, and they didn't have a tent. So you know how sometimes it's hot out there, and so they didn't have a tent. So what we did, we designed a tent and we went and we delivered it 2 weeks ago to them. So if we had a larger budget, we could go and bless the schools, because some of the schools have different budgets than others, right? And so that's one way. Of course, we're marketing, but it's really indirect. We find a need, we fill it. And then when people are at the games, we hope that the conversation would be, oh, who designed your tent? Where did you get the tent? So it's kind of that indirect marketing, but it's still loving on the community. So we would be able to do more of that if we had a larger budget.
Well, I love that example, and I'll go back to your previous example, right? So the ability to provide Letterman jackets at a reduced cost to the schools. Again, it goes back to the experiential marketing, right? Is, okay, I got this jacket from Customized Designs, and it saved my family money. And they're living it, they're wearing it, they're thinking about you every single day that they have that on, whether they know it or not. It's in the back of their mind, right? So it goes back to that top of mind strategy. It goes back to being seen, being heard, being remembered, not because Tiffany went up to them and said, hey, we sell Letterman jackets, buy your Letterman jackets here. You got out in the community, you got in touch with, you got to know coaches, you got to know players, big nasty linemen, as you said. And they now know what you do, and they now know what you can provide. that's not being salesy. That's getting out in the community. That's being consistent. That's staying top of mind. And then all of a sudden you're providing value to them. I think I just brought it full circle on that, but two great examples, especially with the tent and getting out in the community, being consistent. All those bring you top of mind. All those keep you effective, right? Man, this is good. This has been a great business topic. We've got, I think, about 5 more minutes before we have to hit commercial break. We've still got, I mean, tents are expensive, but we've still got, let's call it 75 grand more that we can go spend in our budget. So what else are you guys doing to stay top of mind out there without being salesy and with 75 grand? I mean, let's go. What else you got?
I got a quick one. We had an event where we sponsored like 30 dinners, high end, real fancy, $200 dinner, private chef in a venue, and we let all the school teachers basically put your name in the hat to win, to get registered to win. And so a lot of different school teachers across the whole entire school system got a chance to win and then bring a guest. And so it had really nothing to do with Total Care ER, but it was just a way to give back to those teachers, to create goodwill in the schools. And so they loved it. And so I think we're going to keep doing it. It wasn't, I mean, it's expensive. I mean, there's a upfront cost, but it was a once in a lifetime type of a venue and the event, and it was really cool. So it's kind of neat.
Well, now Shan, you're eating into my budget. Expensive dinners at fancy venues. Now you're getting expensive, but I like that, and I like too with Total Care ER. That's one of those businesses that you don't really want to go to, right? Like you're not seeking out emergency room services, but shit, when you need it, you better you want to be top of mind when you need it. So I like that. I like that a lot. Deb, you were going to say something. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I have, a couple of things is, I'm so passionate about education, and I don't get paid for educating, but it comes back to me. And so I love going in and teaching money concepts to high schoolers, or I've done one for nannying, and I'm actually, the one donating a gift certificate because we'd play Jeopardy. And so I try to make it fun to see kind of where they are on their level and then giving that out. But, just recently I had someone connect with me on social media that saw me several months ago and was like, I've been looking for you. So it was so good because then they saw I'd been recommended in several of the groups. But I think of another time, just the fact that we have this community difference podcast, and it's not just a podcast, it's more of a business development area. And we have these partnerships that we're able to utilize. We were able to donate certain things like a trip to a nonprofit, and they were able to raise lots of money. And so again, that's not so much about me, but it's the fact that I was part of this community, but also makes me, oh, well, hey, Debbie, if you need this, because she's, relevant to that per se. So, anytime that you can show value to other people, I think is super important. And it's not salesy because you're standing out because you're truly caring about others, and it's not just about the bottom dollar. So.
Yeah, I love that. And we practice that a lot in some of the groups that we're in. We practice that a lot as part of the difference, right? We all have these different community groups. So there's a community difference Frisco Facebook page that please go out there, join us. We see this all the time where, somebody's looking for a good or a service and they have a need. Well, just throw it out there in our webpage, and you're going to have people that are promoting other folks that are either within our community difference webpage or Facebook page, or people that they know, like, and trust, right? That they're going to refer you to, that they can, provide value to you, which has nothing to do with their business. But guess what? They added value to what you need, and therefore they're going to think of you when they have that need. Like when I break my wrist, and I need an ER, I'm going to go to Total Care ER because I know, like, and trust Chance, right? Even though he hasn't sold me a darn thing. But
He doesn't really like me that much, but I'm top of mind.
when I'm in pain, you're going to be top of mind. And that's what our business topic is, right? Effective top of mind strategies.
That's right.
You know, that's when you need it the most, and you want something effective. You know, that's what you're going to get. So, all right, guys. Hey, this has been an awesome session, awesome business topic session, a great topic for all of us small business owners, trying to take all the lessons from all those massive iconic brands and how do we do that at a local level. So great insight, great examples. Right now, what we're going to have to do is take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back on the backside of that, and we're going to dive into our guests. We're going to learn about them. We're going to learn about what makes them tick, what made them start their businesses. And with that, Landon, go ahead and give our sponsors some love.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Enjoy DFW's most fun, affordable night out and catch the Rough Riders, the AA affiliate of the Rangers, at beautiful Riders Field in Frisco. Get your tickets at ridersbaseball.com. The Frisco Rough Riders, the future stars of your Texas Rangers.
Are you or someone you know pregnant or planning to conceive? Caitlin Smith is both a certified childbirth doula and instructor offering childbirth classes to couples wanting an unmedicated, physiological birth outside of the hospital setting. Caitlin has served the local community since 2021 and specializes in working closely with midwives, all while best supporting a mother's physical body, her partner, and the birth environment. You can contact Caitlin through Instagram at thismamadoula or email her at caitlinsmithdoula@gmail.com to learn more about childbirth classes or her doula services.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111.
Now back to the show.
All right, welcome back. So this is one of my favorite segments of the show. I always love hearing your guys' stories, right? This is where the audience gets to learn about you guys. Your businesses, there's other businesses out there that do the same thing you guys do, but everybody has their own story and how they arrived at what they do. Dominion, forgive me, but we do go ladies first on the show. So Tiffany, I'm going to start with you. Tell us your why. Tell us why you moved from, the big brands and the corporate environment to, what you guys are doing now. And then I need to know how you uniquely named your company as well. But start with question one.
Okay, sounds good. So it kind of all started top of the year 2015. I felt like God was telling me that he was going to transition me. Something was going to happen, something big, right? And so the whole year I would journal. And it's so crazy because like 2 months ago, I found one of the journals. I would just journal. I was just excited. In my mind, I was going to get this big promotion, travel the world, be in Paris, do all these things. And so October 1st, I was out on the sales floor training my staff because I wanted them to be ready for the holiday season. And I got a call, oh, can you come back to the office? I'm like, yeah, no problem. They had two two envelopes on the table. One was give us a little bit of your salary, which had happened in 2008. Take on more responsibility and title change, right? The other one was severance package. And so I had to choose, right? And so the whole time I was there, I kept saying, don't smile, don't crack a smile, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, God, this was it, right? And so I told them, I need to go home and talk to my husband about this. And so I went home, put my PJs on, got in the bed and just vegged out and just chilled. My husband came home. He said, what are you doing? I said, I think I'm going to take this package right here. And he was like, what is this? And I said, it's time. So the next day I went in, cleaned off my desk. I took the package, right? And so I sat at home for a couple months and I was like, okay, what am I to do? And all my hindsight is 2020 because all my life, high school, college, family reunions, I would always design merchandise, t-shirts, And so I said, I think I want to do a t-shirt brand. And so I started off with faith-based shirts and just beauty, like cute quotes and things of that nature. And I started off, it was a lot of potholes. It was a rocky road, I will tell you that. But what happened is I realized, I told my husband, I said, people are calling me for custom stuff. They keep saying, can you make this? Can you do soccer jerseys? Remember, I wasn't working. I didn't know how to do soccer jerseys, but I took the order and I did soccer jerseys, right? Because I needed the funds. And so I just learned, honestly, YouTube University taught me so much, right? And so I just continued to grow that way. And it was, I'm taking a trip. Can you do these shirts? My child is graduating. So I told my husband, I said, I need to rebrand this thing. And all along, he was always designing for his organizations and teams, football jerseys and all of this. He said, maybe we need to incorporate menswear as well. And so we said, okay, let's do this thing. Let's rename the company. So we wanted customized designs, right? It was taken. So we said, how do we put custom in the name and still make it cool, right? So ICE came about. So we do cool designs, right? We do custom cool designs. And so that's how the name came about. And we just ventured out. We're products of DISD, Dallas School Systems. And so those are some of our first clients, the coaches, the staff, right? And then small businesses. I also have a big passion for small businesses. Because starting out, you can't afford 2,500 shirts or 100 shirt order, right? And so we say, you know what, we're going to cater to small businesses because sometimes they have no idea, they have no direction to go in, right? And so then we started out with small businesses and it broke out into sporting teams and AAU teams. So those are our passions right now. And we also do university. So one of our first licenses was UNT because we graduated from UNT. So our business is it has so many layers to it because we do the high school stuff for the teams. We also do small businesses. We also do large businesses because sometimes you're too busy. You just want to send me your logo and you want to make sure that you're getting a quality product. So we just basically do custom stuff for big, small, for schools, for teams. And that's really how we got started. I kind of got pushed out there and had to step out on faith. And as I continued to walk the journey, things became clearer. What we needed to do, who needed us, right? Because sometimes you feel like selling is bad, but selling is as honorable as buying, right? And so we realized that people need us and people need what we have. They need our skills, they need our professionalism, and they need our transparency and our honesty. So that's in a nutshell how we became Customized Designs.
Oh, I love that. And customized, I love it. Cool designs, iced, I like that. All right. Well, and your story is so similar to a lot of folks, a lot of our listeners, a lot of our target audience, small business owners, entrepreneurs, taking that leap. You could have played it safe and said, yep, I'll stick it out and I'll do what I need to do. Or I'll take the package. And I love how you just kind of cleared your minds. You went home and you took a nap. You just kind of cleared your mind and said, what do I want to do? And I'm going to tease our next segment. What's the difference? So I'm going to ask a question that has some relation to that. So start thinking about that. But no, I love that story. That's awesome. And kudos to you for taking that risk and taking that leap. And also going back to your roots and what you're familiar with, because that's a great way to start. and then you never know how you branch out from there. Sounds like you guys are well on your way to doing that, so that's awesome. I do want to ask, where's the Frisco tie-in? How did you guys end up in Frisco? And coming from Dallas ISD, UNT, what's up with Frisco?
Frisco. How do we come to Frisco? So the last Neiman's I worked at was in Allen, and he worked in Plano when there was an Apple store out here at one point. And then he ventured off to go to IBM. And so we lived in McKinney. And then, we got pregnant with the twins. And so you're just like 2 kids at one time. We need a bigger home. And so we came on to Frisco. And so that's how we ended up with Frisco, just down the street, kind of on the edge of McKinney, but it's Frisco.
All right, we'll go with that. I like it. That's awesome. Great story, Tiffany. Thank you. Dominion, I want to shift over to you. Same thing, man. Tell us, what motivated you to start your business, how you got here, and, do podcasting and all that. So I'll let you have the floor.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Brian. Tiffany, that was motivating. That's awesome. I love the custom ice. That's a very strategic way to get what you want and stay within the lines. That's awesome. So I actually started training people in junior high, and I would my friends wanted me to train them for free. I said, no, this is my time. You're gonna give me some bucks. I've always had this entrepreneurial type of mentality. I used to be an artist and I used to design paper planes and color them and sell them for $1 when I was in middle school. I didn't know that was called entrepreneurialism. I just was trying to make money in a legal way. So junior high, I started training people. I played football for a decade. And then going into college, when I was playing football, obviously it was just natural. Same thing. People would ask me to train them. So off season, I was doing a lot of training. When I transferred schools, I graduated from Taos University. When I transferred schools, I got more serious about my business because, I'm in classes and, getting ready to graduate. I don't really want to get into corporate America and wear a suit and tie.
I don't blame you.
It's not so like my person. I can't sit still. I have to be moving. That's why I love my schedule is different every week. So I'm trying to be serious because it's junior year and, friends are taking internships at, different high prestigious places and getting ready for the workforce. And I'm finishing out my collegiate career in football and, still have this little business and I don't want to stop this. So I graduated and I was going to do my master's at Howard University and I had an extra year to play ball because of COVID. That didn't work out. So I was stuck in DC. I resigned a lease and I'm like, okay, now I have to make this work because I got to pay bills. So I just started hustling. God is my strength. God is my source of getting direction. And from there, I just started growing the business. I had my sister's a nurse, my mom's a nurse, a lot of friends who are nurses from school. And, this COVID was terrible. And I was getting a lot of the feedback of what was going on with healthcare. So much stuff. Like we do that. We do a lot of advocacy work now. We get a lot of stories from nurses, a lot of corruption. They tell us the stories. Obviously, we don't, disclose personal information, but we try to get these stories out there. Like this is actually going on. So I got the opportunity to work at a hospital, MedStar in DC. One of my colleagues brought me on because of the work I started to do. He caught wind, and that's where the advocacy behind my program got developed and getting the opportunity, the blessing to work one-on-one with these nurses right after the cusp of COVID. Like it was towards the end, but it was still, this was what was really damaging. COVID ended, but the parameters of how they were operating COVID within the healthcare system stayed the same. The system stayed the same. That was very detrimental to the overall operations of healthcare. Lots of miscommunication, where medical errors went up 14% from 2022 to 2023. So just people died that didn't need to die, and that could have been easily mitigated. So I'm working at MedStar, developing this program, and then I moved to Dallas for personal reasons, and obviously I can't be at MedStar anymore. And now we're taking I took the program virtual. Obviously, experienced lots of challenges, lots of setbacks with that. Don't have the merit of a large healthcare institution behind my back anymore. And I just, from before when I graduated college, I just had to hustle. I had to lean on God, stay faithful, and I had to, push the needle. I had to press forward. to where we are now. We're still experiencing challenges, but we're blessed to be helping various nurses all over. And we still have the conventional, training people, weight loss, strength training, work a lot of people, getting them off of Ozempic, to foster more holistic measures that are sustainable versus just medication that, all the data shows is not really working, on the long term. So we try to help people because there's a deficit in the healthcare system right now. A lot of people may not know about it. That's why we do a lot of advocacy work. But childhood obesity is on the rise, autoimmune disease is on the rise, infertility in both men and women has increased dramatically. We're the most unhealthy nation across the board. We spend more on healthcare than the defense budget in America. Just think of that. All the weapons we have, we spend more on healthcare than the defense budget. So that's where we are now, the business. Being really blessed to help the nurses and other healthcare. We've had physicians in our program. We've had CNAs, phlebotomists. So it's not just limited to nurses, but they're the backbone of the hospital. And I came to this country from Nigeria, and my mom was a teacher. So she started out, because the degrees don't transfer. So she started out as a CNA and HHA, and I have, 3 little brothers. My dad's in school too, getting, and working. So I'm raising my brothers at 6, 7 years old. And, I'm watching her health slowly decline as she's climbing the political ladder and the career ladder. She's getting the LPN now. She's an RN now, but she's getting all these accolades within her career. But I'm also watching her health deteriorate. And that's what started a fire for nurses. And I just know, I'm sure Chance can talk about this. Nurses are the backbone of every institution. You ask any physician, any doctor, they will tell you they got their bearings from a nurse. They got direction right after residency from a nurse. No doctor will ever defy and deny that fact. So that's what we're doing now, and we're blessed to do that. And still working with people, with their weight and their health. And that's what we're doing. And that's what I believe that God's got me on the mission, and we're going to see it through and push that needle.
I love that, man. That's a great story. Can't have a better foundation than that. Put God first, and good things will happen. So love that story. Quick question for you before we go to break. What position did you play in college football?
In college, I started out my career as a linebacker, and then I finished out as a running back.
I was going to say, you look like a linebacker, which goes to Tiffany's comment, the big, nasty linebacker. So we got one on the show. Love it.
Yeah, I'm not big enough, I promise.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for sharing your stories. Love the stories. That's my favorite part of the show. Every single week, I get to learn about that. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, our final break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about what's the difference.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media, LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
All right, welcome back. This is our final segment. This is I think the second or third week we're doing this, so we're still debating how many questions we can fit in. Looking at my clock right now, I think we can probably only do one. So I'm going to go on the safe side and say we're going to do one. This question is around decision making. And Tiffany, when you were talking earlier about the decision that you made to, say, you know what, I'm going out on my own, I'm doing my own thing. This question kind of it sparked my mind to ask this question. So the question is, what's the difference between making decisions based on long-term impact and making decisions for immediate results? Okay. So I want to hear your answer from your perspective. There's no right or wrong answers. And then at the end of it, I'll read kind of what the Webster's Dictionary version answer would be. So since I mentioned you earlier, Tiffany, why don't we start with you? What's your answer to that question?
Okay, immediate results. To me, that's just something quick. That's something quick that it might be urgent. I don't really like immediate results, honestly, because I feel everything you do, all the small things add up to your bigger vision and mission and goal, right? So I just feel like if you're doing it instant, then it's pretty risky, but hopefully you can think through it.
Okay, I like that. Very good. Dominion, you're up next.
I think I have a different perspective because I think both are necessary, like immediate and long term. I was listening to this podcast. I forgot the guy, but Ed Milet, yeah, and he was talking about there's two things you're doing in your business. You're either working on your business or working in your business, especially in the early stages. That's across the board, all industries, no matter what kind of business. So I think some of those results, especially in my industry of health and wellness and health in general, like some of the things we do a lot of concierge coaching with our nurses and just our clients, especially with like nutrition, right? So they're at a restaurant with their friends and they want to have this drink and this food that is, and this patient is pre-diabetic, and I'm like, you shouldn't be. Come on, like we're working on getting you out of this, and you want to eat this food. So for them to avoid that food, that's an instant win. That's a fast result, right? So in that perspective, hey, we worked on this right here, then and there, and we crushed it. I mean, obviously, the long-term impact of being able to prioritize your health and making more holistic decisions is going to have a healthier long-term impact. So I believe there's a case for both of those approaches within any business. Immediate and long term. For sure, you want to strategize to the sustainability of your business and make the right decisions. But also, there's some times where you're put on spot. You meet the amazing connector. You're in an elevator pitch. You have to be precise. You have to be ready to deliver a result then and there. And I think there is a case for both of those applications.
Good. I like that perspective. Certainly from your business, right? You have immediate impacts of fitness and nutrition, but it's the consistency and the long-term impact that you're ultimately going for in life improvement, right? So good perspective. I like that answer. Debbie, I'm going to ask you next. What's your answer to that question?
First thing that even popped to my mind is, and it kind of goes back to actually what I teach is the difference between a want and a need. So I can have an immediate decision, but is that based on something that I just want because I want it, or is it because I really need it to survive versus a long-term decision of, like in 2017, I quit my full-time job to go into business on a full-time basis. So there's a long impact, and those have been up and down roads, but it was not an immediate decision right away. It was something that took thought process. But then to Tiffany's point, if I would have been offered a severance pay, then, I probably would have taken it immediately too, and just figured out the consequences. So there really is, different perspectives on that point for the immediate and then the long term, because then sometimes you just have to figure out the long term if you do the short term.
Yeah, well, they're all intertwined, right? No, I like that. Good perspective. Chance, I'll leave it to you, and then I'll read you the Webster's Dictionary version.
Well, I mean, I guess my perspective on this too is if you're making the immediate decision, how is it impacting the long term? Because when you see a lot of corporate guys are rated by this quarter, and they do a lot of things they have to do to make something happen this quarter, but it may not be necessarily the best thing for the long run of the company. Now, I think everybody on this page right now is entrepreneur, so we don't have that luxury of borrowing money, millions of dollars, and doing a big campaign, and then all of a sudden you reap what you sow, so you're gonna get it right away. And so I think you've got to be a little bit more thoughtful. And if I make this immediate decision today, then I've got to make sure that it's congruent with my long-term plan or what I'm trying to do. It's much more of an impact versus sometimes bigger companies have the luxury of trying some things out. If they don't work, they can sort of amortize it out over a lot of years, and it's not as critical as your business or Debbie's business, where if you make that a bad, immediate, quick decision, well, you're going to have to really live with it, and it's a little bit different value. So that's kind of what was going through my mind.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And also depending on the stage of business you're in, I think of it back when I originally launched my business. I was taking on clients and offering things that I would never offer today. And it was more from the immediate impact because I needed business. Whereas if I were in that same conversation now where I was, 5 years ago, it would have been a completely different situation. I knew that wouldn't have been a fit, and it wouldn't have benefited the long-term goals. So over time, you make those decisions and you learn what's the right and wrong decision to make. So love that perspective. Here's the Webster's Dictionary answer to that question. It's making decisions based on long-term impact involves considering the future consequences and sustainability of the choices made, prioritizing enduring success. Making decisions for immediate results focuses on short-term gains, often sacrificing future stability or growth. So I think we kind of all hit on that. Dominion, I like your perspective from a health and wellness perspective. It's kind of a different twist on that, but absolutely applicable in your case. So that kind of wraps up like I said, I think we only have time for one question. We do, because we're up against it on a time perspective. One question I want to throw out to both Tiffany and Dominion, and please keep it to 20 seconds or less, but what was your key takeaway from today's show? Tiffany, I'll go with you first.
Okay, my key takeaway was, I think it was the last question. I think it's perspective. And I think I like how Dominion in his profession, he must go faster, right? In my profession, I must go slower because I can make a huge mistake on something custom. So I think just understanding the overall wealth of perspective, and I think that helped me. I do. I think I learned a lot. It was rich.
Love it. Awesome. Dominion, what about you?
I just love the different questioning, the style of this entire show. It was really robust. It gave the commercial breaks, gave you time to chill. Everybody here is wonderful, like I said earlier. And what I came on here was fulfilled. Like I wanted to have an awesome conversation and hear different perspectives and meet valuable people. And I feel fulfilled in that stand. So thank you so much for having me on here.
Awesome. Well, appreciate that feedback, and that's exactly what we're trying to do with the show. We're just meeting awesome, like-minded folks and trying to elevate each other. So it was a pleasure having you guys on the show today, learning about you and your businesses. Deb and Chance, thank you guys for being my co-hosts. Always awesome to see you guys. With that, guys, we have to wrap the show because we are up against it. But it's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful, safe weekend this weekend, and we'll see you back here next Thursday, 2:30 p.m. See y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Frisco is made possible by Brian Poduska, owner of Real Property Management Focus. Paul Fisher, loan officer with Certainty Home Lending. Debbie Watson with Team Watson Redeemers. Ethan Donovan with Donovan Creative Agency. Jacqueline Kreider with PBJ Morgan. Tracy Churchman with Best Buddies. Kristen King Marketing Rep with the Frisco Rough Riders. And by Bethany Rowan, Realtor with Rowan Homes. the Community Difference Frisco. Together, we can make the difference.